Hello, and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. And today I will be doing a recap of Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 9, from the White House to Key West. And if you could put a one in the chat if you can hear me before I get too far along, that would be great. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, guys. Okay, great. And hey, Mama Bees, thank you so much for being here, sis. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And okay, so I might be using the B word a lot in this live. So, guys, if you have a problem with the B word, you might want to click off now, okay? Because there was a lot of different, scenes in this particular episode that kind of took me there, okay? So, in the first scene, um, Toya's husband and sons were at the house. And of course, Toya was being overly sexual in front of her sons as usual. That's nothing new, okay? And she was having a conversation with her youngest son about why he didn't want to go to the eighth grade prom. And he just pretty much said that it was a waste of his time because, as we all know, her youngest son, Ashton, is really shy, like his dad. But on the other hand, her oldest son, Avery, he's quite the ladies' man, okay? So, kind of flirtatious like Toya. He's more like his mom. So Toya was encouraging him to go so that he can maintain his popular status, which, I get where she's coming from. Plus, you don't want your kids to have any regrets in life. You know what I'm saying? Because that can happen. I actually didn't go to my high school prom. And, at first I planned on going, but I changed my mind. So there was a little regret there of not having that whole experience. Nothing too heavy, but, so I understand why she was trying to encourage him to go. So Eugene asked Avery how was his love life. And keep in mind, Avery is quite the ladies' man, okay? So, and to come to find out, he has had at least three girlfriends, possibly four. So apparently, he doesn't need any help. He has this, thing down pat. So Toya did move on to have a serious conversation with her sons, and she told them that she don't want them to go too far, with the girlfriend thing. Okay. They can be cool or whatever, but no touching. She said, in her confessional, she said that they don't allow any PDA because they want them to be focused on more important things. Hey, Aries Girl podcast. Thank you so much for being here, sis. Um, so although hugging is okay, she kind of contradicted herself when she said, no touching, but then she said that hugging is allowed. So I was kind of, taken aback when she contradicted herself. But I can really appreciate the transparency and open line of communication that, Toya does have with her kids because you do want them to feel comfortable enough to come and talk to you about absolutely anything. I raised three sons. I know, that was my goal with my kids was to be very open. I wasn't very sexual, the way Toya is, but I definitely, you know, asked them those hard conversations and we had those hard conversations that a lot of parents, stray away from. I didn't want that. I wanted my sons to be able to come and talk to me about anything, even if they had a pimple on their backside, whatever the case may be. I wanted them to feel comfortable enough to be able to come and talk to me about it. It was interesting to find out that Eugene's father was a lieutenant at a maximum security prison. Um, So he definitely comes from a good background, good household, whatever the case may be. And they showed a picture of Eugene and his dad, and they were kind of handsome back in the day. Eugene looks just like his dad, and he was a lot smaller back then, and they were handsome back in the day. So then they went on to have a conversation about parenting styles, theirs and also their parents. And I was not surprised that Eugene is the more lenient parent and Toya, because Toya looks like she can get crunk when she needs to. And you kind of have to be that way when you're raising boys because, by you being a female, sometimes those boys, they will try you, especially once they outgrow you, they get taller than you. And I'm very petite. And, my sons were 6 feet and over. So, and I'm not even 5 feet. So I definitely had to put that fear in them so that they knew not to try me. Okay. And so I can see Toya taking on that role. So moving past that, in scene two, it was at Jackie's house and she was having an intimate gathering, Heavenly only, pretty much. Um, and Heavenly was complaining about the fact that Dr. Jackie was making daiquiris and they were virgin daiquiris. And she was just like, Dr. Jackie, why are you making a virgin daiquiri? Like, what's the point of that if you're not going to put any alcohol in it? Just give me some pineapple juice so that I can smell good. I didn't get that, but that's what Dr. Heavenly said. She was just a little annoyed that, Dr. Jackie wasn't making any alcoholic beverages, but I did see, I think it was a bottle of tequila or some type of alcohol sitting up there. So all she had to do was pour her on, but anything, to complain about. So she invited Dr. Heavenly over because she had something really important to tell her. So she was very excited to tell Dr. Heavenly that she had been invited to go to the White House after receiving her second call from Kamala Harris, asking her to be a part of the Reproductive Freedom Conference. And at first, she told Dr. Heavenly that she gets to bring one physician. And Dr. Heaven and she said that she had already asked Dr. Simone. And guys, if you haven't done so already, please like the video. Even if you're in the bushes, not a problem, just like the video. So she told her that she had already invited Simone. So Dr. Heavenly automatically got, you know, offensive. And she was just like, how are you going to invite Dr. Heavenly when I pulled you and I helped you with, the Met Gala or whatever the case may be? So she played in her face for a little bit. Then, she did reveal that she was allowed to bring two physicians. So she was definitely inviting Dr. Heavenly to come to the White House with her and Dr. Simone. So the three of them will be going to the White House. And Dr. Heavenly promised to be on her best behavior. She plans to be very quiet, but, I won't believe that until I see it. And I actually did see it, and she did live up to that. Um, because that's definitely not the time or place. And I like to assume that Dr. Heavenly gets that. Okay. So in the next scene, they showed brief snippets of the ladies at the White House. And no matter how messy this show can get, that was a great representation for my sisters. Okay. That was a great representation of Black excellence. And I'm proud of those sisters. They were able to take photos with I'm sorry, with Kamala Harris. And those are memories that they will cherish for the rest of their lives. Like Dr. Jackie was so excited, she couldn't hardly breathe. Like she had so much anxiety and nervousness because, that was a dream come true for her. And I can definitely see that. So in the next scene, Phaedra had a date with Sheck. The guy she supposedly met at the age gap party, the one Dr. Heavenly was insinuating that she already knew before the event. Yeah, that guy. And from the conversation that took place on the date, it seems like these two were just getting to know each other. And honestly, I don't think that Phaedra would risk Dr. Heavenly being able to honestly say that she out here rigging up dates and paying men to date her, okay? She's just not going to let that happen. And Mama B says she could have acted a fool if she wanted to. They would have carried her behind out of there. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the thing about Dr. Heavenly, I think she knows exactly where she can cut up and where she can't cut up. You know what I'm saying? I think that she does have enough class to know that that's not the time or the place. Um, so, as I was saying, Phaedra ain't finna be out here, looking like she paying men to date her because she damn near paid 40,000 just so that, she wouldn't look broke. So I'm just going to have to call Dr. Heavenly out as being a liar when she said that Phaedra already knew this gentleman because I didn't get that. So Phaedra shared in her confessionals that she also dates white men. Shout out to Phaedra for keeping her options open. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But the date with Shaq, was going really well. And I love the fact that he told her right out the gate that he knew her ex, Apollo, and his wife. He said that, they don't hang out or anything, but whenever he does see him, they speak and they keep it cordial, whenever he runs into him from time to time. And Mama B says, I worked across the street from the White House, and lots of us were used as fillers for White House events. Really, Mama Bees? Wow. Now, how exciting is that? That is cool as heck. So, you know, as for myself, if you withhold this type of pertinent information from me, eventually, when I do find out, that's an immediate red flag and will cause you to be blocked ASAP. Like, because there has been situations where you meet somebody and then later on they want to reveal that they know this person, they know that person, honey. That's why you got to do your homework. You got to find out, what family they come from because that stuff is important, you know. And then sometimes people will know the person you're dating. They won't say anything, but then when stuff starts to go wrong, then they want to come out and say things like, oh, well, yeah, I knew that. Oh, well, I knew his family. Oh, I knew this. Okay, well, why didn't you say anything? So Phaedra was very impressed that he did, you know, let her know right out the gate that he did know Apollo. So I hope this guy is not putting on. He seems to be, really infatuated with Phaedra. And he was actually feeding her, which I thought was very sensual. And I know some of you ladies are thinking, ooh, I don't know where his hands been, not even realizing that this is a test. When men do that, a lot of times it's a test. Men want their significant other to be fun, sensual, and spontaneous. So, he's just testing the water to see if, that's what he has in Phaedra. They don't want you to be boring, uptight, and bitchy. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to give any, dating advice, but this is just something I know about men. We all know. Okay. So in the next scene, the trio, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, and Dr. Heavenly, are headed to the White House. And Dr. Heavenly, I have to say, when they were at the airport, Dr. Heavenly looked really nice. Okay. The other ladies looked just okay for me, but in their defense, they were getting, ready to catch a flight. So, I guess that was their flight attire. But Dr. Heavenly actually looked really nice on the flight and once she actually got to the White House. But one thing I did notice is that Dr. Heavenly is definitely feeling the skin she is in, honey. She had her little tummy out. And I noticed she, was dressing like that the entire trip when, they actually did reach Key West. So, we all know that she did that what do you call it? Weight loss surgery. And I believe she also had a tummy tuck, if I'm not mistaken. So the next morning, they were giving Dr. Heavenly a pep talk so that, she would be on her best behavior at the White House. But in her eyes, she's a professional and she know how to act. But of course, they had to run them clips back to when she was acting, a complete donkey. So she just decided to get it all out before she got to the White House or whatever. So she was just throwing out explicitives or whatever the case may be. So they have arrived and, they were the first to get to the event. So at the event, they introduced Kamala Harris, and she was being interviewed by Chrissy Teigen. I'm not sure how that played out. And shout out to them for having Kamala Harris to make an appearance on Married to Medicine, having a conversation that needs to be had, which is women's right to choose reproductive freedom. Okay, that's a very, very important subject. And again, this displays Black excellence on this show. It does get pretty messy at times, but at least they do balance out the show with Black excellence. They give back a lot, they go do charity work. So we can kind of deal with a little shade and mess here and there because they do have a balance, of Black excellence on the show as well. So then, after the conference was over, they got to meet Kamala up close and personal and take pictures. Thanks to Dr. Jackie, I guess you good for something. Just kidding. Okay. Y'all know I don't really be feeling Dr. Jackie like that. She's definitely a mean girl. But what came to mind? I said to myself, the reason why Dr. Jackie uses Dr. Heavenly as her mouthpiece is because she knows that she have to throw a certain amount of shade just to keep her position on this show. But she's not willing, unlike Heavenly, to sacrifice her reputation for this show. She wants to keep her professional reputation. So that's the reason why she uses Dr. Heavenly as her mouthpiece. And hey, if Dr. Heavenly is dumb enough to allow her to do that, then that's on her. Because Heavenly doesn't have a problem, risking her reputation, being so messy on this show. Okay. So in the next scene, they showed clips of everyone at their homes packing for the couple's trip to Key West. And messy ass Heavenly revealed that she invited Apollo and his wife. And, she was telling her husband that he can show the couples, especially Quad and Greg, how it's supposed to be done when an ex can move on and have a very positive relationship and they can all coexist together. Yeah, that sounds good when it's not your ex, Dr. Heavenly. It's just the BS for me because at the end of the day, even though he said out of his own mouth on her show, her live, when she interviewed him, that, he doesn't have any issues with Phaedra. She's the mother of his child and he respects her. And she ended up calling Phaedra. Phaedra didn't seem to be uncomfortable with the idea and she didn't seem to be too bothered. But at the end of the day, you don't know how you're going to feel until you're put in a situation. And I really feel like, Dr. Heavily gets off on seeing people, other people, not herself, in uncomfortable situations. But why do that? Like when you go on vacation, you just want to go, you want to have a good time, you work hard, you want to play even harder. So the last thing you want is for someone to invite somebody on the trip that's going to make you feel uncomfortable being in their presence. But it's out of order and downright vindictive, but that's just who Dr. Heavenly is. And again, Phaedra didn't seem to be too bothered, but honestly, I'm pretty sure that's all going to change when he's actually there in her face. So now, Dr. Greg, on the other hand, he was having anxiety about being on this trip with Quad. And we all know that Quad makes him feel some kind of way. She gives him anxiety. I think it was last year at the Met Gala when she came up and she asked Sweet Tea if she can give him a hug. Like, girl, why would you want to give him a hug? You said that this man is abusive. Like, you've said all of these negative things about him. So why would you want to give him a hug? But Quad likes to play these type of games, and I honestly don't think she has any feelings for Greg at this point. But it's still her ex. So I think it's just a fact of she still wants to be in control to a certain degree. And Mama B says, I can't stand Heavenly. Oh my God. She's so annoying. So Sweet Tea did step up to be the voice of reason, saying that Greg has friends within the group and Quad has friends within the group. So, they just have to move forward. And she's absolutely right about that. Unless they're going to leave the show, they have to all learn how to cohabitate and how to coexist together. So Quad seemed a little bit nervous too. So she was giving her man the 411 on this group and how things might come up that might be disturbing to him because we've all seen, they've been doing these couples trips for over 10 years. So we've all seen how crunk those couples trips can get and the disrespectful questions that these cast members like to throw on each other. So the new couple, um, and all I'm going to say about them is I am excited for their presence and their contribution to the mix. Okay. And not that I'm expecting, especially the wife to be all rah rah. I just want to see people that will hold individuals accountable for their actions. That's it. That's all. And fingers crossed that that will actually happen. But that's my only hopes for the new couple. So I did want to mention the fact that he um that when the husband said, and this is a new couple I'm referring to, the husband said that when he goes on vacation, he likes a little bit of turn up, bar hopping, and excursions. And the wife, Mimi, said that she likes getting rest, lounging, sunbathing, and when I go on vacation, I'm kind of like a perfect mixture of both of them, with the exception of the excursions. I don't like excursions unless if we're not going to see some exotic animals or just animals in general, whether they're inside or outside of the water, then count me out. I love zoos. I love anything that has to do like with aquariums, that type of thing, just animals in general. Even when I'm out of town, I usually always visit some type of aquarium or a zoo. So that's one of the main things I do when I do go out of town. So what I wanted to know from y'all is I want you guys to speak on your experiences, whether it's with your significant other or a friend. Have you taken a vacation, with somebody who had a totally different version of a vacation? Like they like to do things that you don't like to do. Like you like to lounge, relax, sunbathe, and they like to go on excursions. Have you had that experience? Now, I'm going to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Dr. Simone and Cecil are the married couple that everybody needs in their life. Okay. They love to vacation, and they're pretty much the ones who always plan the vacation trips. I'm sorry, the couples trips, and they like to have a good time. Ain't nothing fake or phony about their life. And when the group got to Key West, they were already there. They wanted to get there. They wanted to prepare everything. So once they went out to meet the couples, they were like, it's on, it's party time. So Cecil and Simone, they are a whole vibe. And I would absolutely love to go on vacation with them. And Mama B says, nah, I love doing it all. Okay, so Mama B, she likes to do it all. So I'm assuming she loves excursions as well. So have you had an issue, Mama Bees, that you went on a vacation with somebody who didn't like to do any of the things that you like to do? Now, y'all, what did y'all think about the hug that Dr. Heavenly gave? I'm sorry, that Dr. Contessa gave to Dr. Heavenly, and they ended up falling on the ground. and Dr. Contessa ended up kissing Dr. Heavenly on the forehead. Like, that was a lie. She had just, finished saying how they have no relationship, and she decides that she wanted to, okay, no, good, be extremely extra. As for me, I love to see it. Like, what are we fighting for? Like, you know what I'm saying? After you have a disagreement with somebody and then you really look back on the situation, like, it's very childish and it's very dumb. And if you're going to go on vacation with a group of people, you don't want to have that hanging over your head for everybody to feel uncomfortable because there's discord in the room. Because not only is that going to affect your trip, but it's also going to affect everybody else's trip. So I think that that was the right thing for Dr. Contessa to do. Everyone was laughing and screaming, and it was a great way to start off the trip. Okay. So Heavenly loved it because at the end of the day, she was getting everything she loves, which is attention and affection, something she missed out on growing up as a child. Okay. So Dr. Simone and Cecil's theme for this year's couples trip is teamwork makes the dream work. And I absolutely love that. And Mama B says, loved it. I believe she took her down on purpose to lighten the mood. And that's exactly what it did. Hey, kicking it with Courtney. Thanks so much for being here, sis. Great live earlier. Y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all were on the live. Melody Cherie popped up in the live, and she was on the live for a very, very long time. So a lot of people got a chance to talk to her. They got a chance to say happy birthday to I want to say Mariah, and make donations and things like that. So that was very awesome that was very spontaneous, just out the blue. That Courtney was able to have Melody Cherie in her live just a bit ago. And guys, if you were one of the people that tried to send a cash app and it didn't go through, that has happened to me before. So it does happen. You just have to maybe wait a day or two. So back to this. So I thought an idea popped into my head at the end of this. I need to give out awards. You know how when you're in high school and they have the awards like the most likely to succeed, that type of award. But this is going to actually be the ghetto professional version. But yeah, as I was watching this episode, it popped in my mind that when this season is over, I want to kind of give them names, kind of like how you would do for your class reunion or whatever the case may be. And Mama B says, my money got kicked back. I will try later. And Kicking It with Courtney says, thanks, sis. Yes. So they got all of these activities planned where they are, pairing people up with people they got issues with, so that if they can work together, they can, if they can work together to win, because we know that this group is competitive, hopefully, that'll bring them together and they can work on their issues that they have with each other as well. So I don't know if this is going to be a setup for a disaster or if it's going to actually work. Why not put the people who they are comfortable with and let them go against the ops? That would have made more sense, but that's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm just trying to keep the peace because you can already tell that this group is kind of divided. You got Phaedra, Sweet Tea, Dr. Contessa, now Mimi, that are kind of like on one side. And then you got Dr. Simone, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Heavenly, and Quad on one side. So if they would have kind of, paired the teams up that way and had them to compete, that would have been a good look. So, as they were, putting on their shirts that represented their teams, Dr. Contessa walks in like, you know, She's that bitch and says, "The champ is here." Excuse my language, but I like a real bitch, okay? Which stands for being in total control, honey. And this is the vibe that Dr. Contessa has on this trip, okay? I'm loving Dr. Contessa on this trip. She's just like, you know, she's just holding her own. And she's letting the people know, like, you're not going to play in my face. I'm not going to be punked. So she's coming, with the rah rah, and she's ready for whatever. Now, when Phaedra walks in, and of course, she was fashionably late as usual. I think Toya noticed it first, and she yelled out that Phaedra had cut her shirt, and so then Simone, said the same thing. So Phaedra was like, "Yes, bitch, it's just a t-shirt." And Phaedra said, she clapped back with, "Yes, child, I do too much because y'all do too little." So that's the main reason why I love Phaedra. I know a lot of people don't agree. They think she's a liar, but I like Phaedra because of her classic reads. I don't care what y'all say. I love her because of her classic reads. She always know what to say and when to say it. And when Dr. Simone said that she made the t-shirts of Phaedra and they went into all the flashbacks of Phaedra saying, "If I got to give up my money, I'm not going to let no bitches like y'all be acting like I'm not going to do what I say I'm going to do." Okay. And when she called them mofos out, I got my entire reality TV life, that is. Okay. See, these bitches like to play in your face. So I love it when somebody called them out on their shit. These kinds of bitches, which is the title that I put on my thumbnail. I thought that was cute as hell. These kinds of bitches. They actually put that on the back of the t-shirts. Okay. So if y'all decide to make a coin off of Phaedra's classic reads, just make sure y'all give her cut. Okay. And Mama B says, "Me too." Hmm. But when Simone called her out saying some shit about redeeming herself, Simone, you just lost all your cool points with me. How in the hell can these other folks say and do whatever they please and no one holds them accountable? But the person who don't say shit gets called out. And y'all know, I started having flashbacks about somebody else we know who is going through the same shit. Are you serious right now? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Um, the same thing just happened to Melody when she was on stage at the reunion. She never bothers anybody. She do her thing. And Kimmy had the nerve the first time she tries to hold somebody accountable. Kimmy had the nerve to go off. Like that shit pissed me off so bad. And that's exactly what I was thinking about when Simone did what she did. And Aries Girl said, "Yep, if you want to play in my face, I sometimes play along." That's my original quote. Okay, pop your shit, Aries Girl. So then Simone went on to say, "What kind of bitches are we?" Quad had some shit to say, even though they broke her whole soul when they singled her out in Napa. But now she's trying to do the same thing to Phaedra. Needless to say, I was very appalled. In her confessional, Phaedra said, "They are so affected by me," obviously acknowledging that they are those types of bitches. Okay. But she is not surprised because most of the things I say are pretty iconic. So that's what Phaedra had to say in her confessionals. And let me read that again. She said, "Most of the things I say are pretty iconic." I thought that was funny as hell. And Aries Girl said Kimmy had a rehearsed read. Okay. And that's what I love about Phaedra. Like, you know what I'm saying? She pop her shit at the drop of a hat, nothing rehearsed. It just flows off her tongue. The way that Scott laughed, and that's Contessa's husband, when Quad said These are some glorious bitches. He almost choked on his food. They flashed to Scott. Scott was laughing so hard. It was so funny. So those bitches were so pressed, and that's exactly why she doesn't belong on this show. Adios, bitches. So on the first adventure, or should I say competition, let the games begin. So then this episode ended with Dr. Damon worried about, you know, the fact that he was going to get attacked by a great white shark. Like sometimes he's so annoying because sometimes, he comes off as a nice guy, gentle guy, whatever. Then sometimes he comes off as very corny. You know what I'm saying? Like him and Dr. Heavenly are so unmatched. Like they are so different. Like they're like night and day. But yeah, he comes off very green, very corny, but hey, he bringing in that check, so what can I say? So then they showed the preview of the next week and what's to come. Drama, drama, drama. And it looks like Apollo did show up to the trip after all. So I didn't think he was coming once everybody got there and he wasn't there, but it looks like he is going to show up for the trip. So I am excited for that. Okay. And Aries Girl said Dr. Damon is plus size Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Yeah, I can see that. You know, I can definitely see that. And I think that's one of the reasons why they don't like Phaedra is because all of these ladies, with the exception of Dr. Simone, they're married to these boring men and they're mad because Phaedra is beautiful, single, fine. You know what I'm saying? So they're just hating because they're stuck with these boring men that, they probably married at the time because they thought that, it was going to be a bag, So now they're stuck. And the thing about it is, ladies, you don't have to marry a man, you know what I'm saying, just for what he can provide. You can provide all those same things for yourself. Just know that, okay? Get who you want and get the money together, okay? Or get your own money. Don't settle because now you're stuck with this man and you're, going to be like Toya sitting up there talking about this man penis to the world. She's still insinuating that her husband has a small penis. And I think that is so disrespectful, and so tacky and tasteless, but I mean, what can we expect from Toya? She just says whatever the hell she wants to say, and it's allowed. Her husband allows her to do that, so that's just what it is. Okay, you teach people how to treat you, and that's what it is. So, guys, that's going to be the end of my recap of Married to Medicine season 9 season 11, episode 9. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have not done so already, I hope you like the video and subscribe to my channel. Hey, Chronicles of Kim K, thank you so much for being here. And Aries Girl says, get who you want and make them sign a prenup. I almost learned my lesson the hard way. Yes, definitely. But have your own bag so that way you don't have to settle, ladies. So guys, if you're catching the replay, make sure that you like the video as well and drop down in the conversation. I'm sorry, drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going and subscribe to the channel. And Mama B says, great recap. Thanks, Mama Bees. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And bye for now.